Hello YouTube, welcome back! We are on to Pyra Mythra with Shared Destinies. So their first alt is the third girl of the three of them. Yep, there's three girls in this one body. Her name's Numa. Then you've got their color scheme swapped, so now Pyra is white and blonde, and Mythra is now red. This is the color of Gormati, so you can see it better with Mythra. So Mythra's got the coloration of Nia, one of the party members from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and and Pyra has got the coloration of her hiding mystique form. I can't remember what it's called. It's basically this costume that Pyra can wear that's really fan beloved. Then you just get a generic dark evil energy. Then I think this is just kind of the same but white, and it looks really nice. I really like this coloration. And this is their original colors just kind of cranked up to 11. So Mythra is super white and blonde, and Pyra is like super saturated red. Oh, and this is Pyra is gold or bronze, and Mythra is silver. So just a good combination of colors. Like I said, I'm gonna go with this coloration, Numa. I like it the most. And although Pyra and Mythra aren't my favorite characters, I do. Every time I pick them on purpose, I like this color the most. So, Pyra and Mythra play like Zelda and Sheik, perfect timing, in the old games, in that you swap back and forth between the two of them, which is, let's get it out of the way, it's lame. It's lame that they purposely made a point of differentiating Zelda and Sheik, and now, the third to last character ever released for Ultimate, they're like, oh, let's bring this back, and it's so unique. Yeah, it's always kind of felt dirty to me, and it's not a bad choice, and I don't think Pyra and Mythra are a bad choice, but it's I don't want to say it's lazy, but it's like, oh, this is what makes them unique. It's what made two characters unique before, but then we removed their uniqueness so they get it. It's just weird. It's a weird choice. I just kind of wish like they had just picked one of them. Even though there's really no way you could have. Yeah, they could have. They could have picked Rex and then you swap between the two. We're not getting into it. So I don't know how to start this part. I like Pyra Mythra enough. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a very popular game, and Xenoblade Chronicles is kind of like a growing franchise for Nintendo. They want to promote it. That's great. And Sakurai really liked it. Before Ultimate was even announced, he expressed disappointment that he couldn't get Rex, who was the main character of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, into Ultimate. With that in mind, years ago, before Pyra and Mythra were even announced, I was making different videos on YouTube than the one I'm currently at the moment. When I wanted to start making videos because of a long story that I might explain some other time. But I knew I wanted to make them based on things that I knew I liked. So that's why if you look way back at my channel, I have done Marvel stuff. Primarily. That's what I know the best. And I still know it, and I would still like to do Marvel stuff at some point in the future, but this is just easier, and with a full-time job on top of this, and I like doing this too. I knew I wanted to try doing this at some point, and I really liked it more than I thought I even was going to. But I also wanted to do Smash videos, a Smash speculation. And what you did at that point was you did character suspicions, like who do you think is going to be the next character? Who do you think would be a good choice? Who would you like? And so I made a video about that, and I really liked that video. I think I did a pretty good job for one of my, like, I don't know, third video, as I was clearly learning how to do it. And then, as I was in the process of making that video, Sakurai announced that he was going to have a new character reveal. And they didn't say who it was going to be. They didn't explain anything. They're just like, oh, new character reveal. And so this was a video I had been planning on making for a couple weeks. But again, with a full-time job, it's a slow process. Dark Pit, get down here. It was a slow process. Suddenly, Sakurai has this reveal, and I'm like, crap. I either now rush through doing this video, or I don't do it at all, and then I maybe release it later, which that just seems lazy. And like, I'm a nobody in the YouTube stratosphere, and that was like the first time I'd been like screwed over by like an announcement that I was like, crap, what do I do now? So I had a day off from work, and so I went about doing my video. I did it all pretty much in one day, and it came out, like I said, pretty well. I think I had some really good choices. I think I had some obvious ones that I wanted to put in, but I think I had also some logical ones that didn't end up paying out at all. I mentioned Sora in like oh yeah, this character wouldn't be a bad choice, but my main ones were like a few Pokemon, which off of this was kind of going off of Byleth. I still think that wouldn't have been a bad choice. Oh come on, I'm almost. Sorry, I'm gonna try to focus and not die, or I can just die and just continue on with my story. So yeah, so I'm proud of that video. I genuinely like it. But there's a character I didn't talk about, and that's Pyra and Mythra, and any character from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And the moment Pyra and Mythra were announced, that's what I felt. It was a disappointment in myself that I didn't remember Sakurai's comment when Ultimate was released that he wanted Rex in the game. And there's no way about saying that without sounding like really petty about it, but that's how I felt. And so it's disappointing that that's how I felt about Pyra and Mythra when they first announced it. I was like, I was disappointed in myself. Not that they were bad choices, but I'm gonna get to that. But yeah. Outside of that ridiculousness, that genuine disappointment and upset with myself that I didn't guess it or call it or whatever, Pyra and Mythra are another first-party Nintendo character, an anime character based. An anime-looking, sword-wielding character. That's indisputable fact. They are another character from a first-party Nintendo game. They are the Byleth of Fighter Pass 2. And as such, I don't really think they deserve that. Again, I don't want to say it like this and sound mean or dismissive of them, because, like, again, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has its fans. It has a lot of fans. And it deserves representation. But at the same time, I'm allowed to be about their reveal.
Ready? Go!
I like how they play. I like playing as them. They clearly got a lot of love and attention that Sakurai loved and wanted. And I'm not gonna lie, I think Pyra and Mythra were Sakurai as compared to Steve not being Sakurai, if that makes sense. Steve was kinda, sorta, implied to be at least somewhat forced on him. Pyra and Mythra were who he wanted. Which again, after all the work Sakurai did for Smash, he absolutely gets to have his character. I haven't talked about this route at all. I have a lot of pent-up feelings about Pyra Mythra that I've really been holding on to pretty much since I started this. That I was like, oh, when I get to Pyra Mythra, I'm gonna just go off on it. I'm sorry if you really like really like them. And like I said, I like playing as them. They're fun. I haven't really talked about it, but Pyra is the stronger, heavier one. Mythra is the lighter, faster one. Pyra's side B is stupidly good, and her up B is also really good. Okay, can I get out of this? And I love Mythra's side B as well. And I'm gonna use it right here. I think it's called Photon Edge. That one's really cool. So before we get to the end of this route, we were fighting characters that were linked in some form or another. I loved the Link fight because it was a reference to the Water Temple, in that you fight Dark Link in a watery area. But other than that, it was pretty simple. It's kind of it's not unlike the the rivalry one or the partners one, although none of those characters were partners. But you're just fighting two characters that are connected in some form or another. So I watched a Let's Play of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and oh, how to talk about it. So I remember when I was playing, if anyone remembers when I was playing as Shulk, I remember talking about how much I loved the characters of Xenoblade Chronicles 1, and I loved the story, and I loved a lot of things about Xenoblade Chronicles 1, besides that has everything. Oh my god, really? How long do those spikes stay? How long do those spikes stay there? I liked a lot about Xenoblade Chronicles 1. And although I ended up liking all the characters in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the story of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a mess. The villains are the villains, not because they do anything really villainous until the very end, but because the game basically says, oh, you will know our backstory at the end. And I thought I just killed myself. Oh my god, no! Oh, that was a ridiculous combo. Oh, this is sucking. And one of my biggest complaints of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 storyline is the main gimmick of the game, the blades. So a blade is a character, a person, that is bonded to a weapon that the driver uses. In Xenoblade Chronicles 2 gameplay, you play as the driver and the blade is more support. Although it's implied in cutscenes and, again, in now Smash, that the blades are the ones with all the power, which just doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Pyra and Mythra are the Aegis, the strongest blade in all rest. Mythra was the original form of the Aegis, and then she had a traumatic experience that had her create Pyra out of really necessity because she had a mental breakdown. So that makes enough sense. I'm gonna actually go through most of the credits because I still want to talk about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 ridiculousness. So that makes enough sense. But then you get into the fact that, okay, so Mythra was the main form of the body, and then she created Pyra as a protection method, basically, also to hide herself. Okay, when you eventually start the game, you meet Mythra first, and then you eventually learn about, you meet Pyra first, and then you eventually learn about Mythra and yada yada yada. The story continues. In playing through the game, you eventually get the third form of this person, which is Pyra and Mythra put together, which is Numa, who's the coloration I'm using. But you don't switch, but she doesn't stay Numa the entire game. She just is Numa at certain points in gameplay. Because, I'm gonna get right to it, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 panders to a waifu community, and it's really... unsettling isn't even really the right word. Awkward if you're not super into that. And if you are super into it, great, more power to you. You get 2 waifus and 1 girl. But it's just Pyra and Mythra outside of their characterization. Just there's no getting around the fact that there's no reason for them to be 2 separate people at a certain point. Okay, Mythra creates Pyra out of necessity. Great, that makes story sense. But then once you figure out about Mythra, why are you ever going back and forth? Why does she need to go back and forth other than the stated reason? And then there's the fact that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 doesn't do anything with the fact that blades are essentially slaves to drivers. So how it works is that once a blade and a driver have been bonded, the blade is stuck with the driver for life. And once the driver dies, that is it for the blade too. They cease to exist. They go back into a core crystal, and then they can be reawakened by someone else, who then they don't have any memories of their previous life. And the game never does anything with this. The villains are implied to like want to do something about this, but it doesn't ever mean anything. And nothing ever happens. It's never addressed that blades are slaves. And it's super freaking awkward. And like, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 does a lot of things I really liked. I learned to like a lot of the characters. Oh my god, the music playing is my favorite song.
Congratulations!
Is it my favorite song? Yes, it is my favorite song playing. This is a really nice picture. Implied to be like Elysian. Yeah, see, I like a lot about Xenoblade Chronicles 2, but there's just a few things about it that just like you can't get away from. This is not even going into the fact of the villains of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 are really ineffective for 90% of the story, and you only learn about what their plan is at the very end. And the main boss is super lame in that he just wants to destroy everything, and he doesn't really have a personality. Okay, that was Pyra Mythra. I did terribly because I was just way more focused on what I was talking about. But that was them. That was Shared Destinies. Anyway, we're done. Bye, Pyra Mythra. See you later.